Hey, everybody. Today I wanted to talk about the paradoxes and how you are self sabotaging. And as you know, each of the nine Enneagram types has a thing they're longing for, the thing they're trying to get, but also the behavior they use to get that thing is also causing them to not get that thing. And that's why it's called the paradox. So let's go ahead and get started and go into some details about each type and how they self sabotage. But as we mentioned, each Enneagram type sometimes unknowingly creates problems for themselves. They may even directly sabotage their own lives without realizing it. And our core motivations are what we're running from, which is our core fear, what we're striving for, our core desire. What we're wrestling with is our core weakness, and the thing we're thirsting for is our core longing. And if you're not familiar with all the nine types core motivations, I have a resource I think it's pinned at the top of the group page in my mom group. You can also message me and I'll send you a link to see that. If you go to my website, insightenneagramcoaching.com, insight with an E, um, you'll also could find the resource there with the core motivations. So our thoughts and behaviors are rooted in achieving the results in the blue. And however, the paradox is that this behavior may be the reason that you're getting the opposite of your core motivation. So let's look at type one and what their core motivation is. So they desire to be seen as good, to have high integrity, avoid criticism, but they react critically towards others, which pushes others away. Because of their inner critic, they struggle to believe others could value them without also judging them in the same harsh manner. This prevents them from receiving the grace and encouragement they desire. So, although you say you want things to be perfect and in order, your behavior actually causes tension and frustration both in yourself and others due to your critical and uncompromising approach. While you say you're trying to avoid mistakes and criticism, your actions actually cause increased tension in the very criticism you fear, as your self criticism and high standards often lead to being overly critical of yourself and others. This approach can make you appear harsh or judgmental, which ironically invites the scrutiny and criticism you're trying so hard to avoid. Right. So type ones, this is tough, right? Tough to hear that the thing you're trying to run away from, that criticism, you're actually inviting onto yourself by being harsh and critical sometimes to others. So awareness is the first step, right? So we have awareness here at the end. I'll talk about some other things you can do to kind of step out of that pattern of self sabotage. All right, let's look at type two. Of course, we know our type twos are our helpers and they want to be supportive, they want to be appreciated, they want to um, care for others, but they also focus their time and energy on others' needs. Um, they do want to follow their dreams and care for themselves, but they think the way they're caring for themselves is to help others. So they're caring for that need to be loved and wanted, but they're not taking care of their other needs. If they become aware of their needs, they will dismiss them, worrying that others will think they're selfish. This presents the very attention, appreciation, and validation they crave. Okay, so they crave for someone to take the time to um, take care of them and to show their love for them and appreciation for them. But at the same time, they don't want to look needy, and they think that letting someone do that for them will cause them not to be appreciating them. So then they push that away. So, although you say you want to be loved and appreciated, your behavior actually causes resentment and dependence in others, as your constant giving can become intrusive or lead to people feeling obligated, ultimately pushing them away. While you say you're trying to avoid feeling unappreciated or unloved, your actions actually cause burnout and emotional distance, as your self sacrificing and people pleasing tendencies can lead to being perceived as manipulative and creating the very disconnect you're trying to prevent. All right, type threes, your desire is to be valued for who you are instead of for your image or your accomplishments. That you're always just showing off your polished image to excel so others can't even see and value you for who you truly are behind your mask. So, although you say you want to be successful and admired, your behavior actually causes pressure and disconnection, as your relentless pursuit of achievements can lead to neglecting genuine relationships and authenticity, causing others to see you as inauthentic or overly competitive. And while you say you're trying to avoid failure and inadequacy, your actions actually cause stress and superficiality, as your focus on image and accomplishments can lead others to view you as insincere or overly self promoting, resulting in a lack of genuine admiration you crave. All right, let's look at type fours. They want to connect deeply with others, but they engage with each other in a push pull relationship. When they are disappointed or feel rejected, they pull away, which makes it challenging for others to connect with them. This can cause a very disconnection that they fear. So, although you say you want to be understood and unique, your behavior actually causes isolation and misunderstanding, as your tendency to withdraw and focus on what's missing can make you seem overly dramatic or difficult to connect with. While you say you're trying to avoid being ordinary or unnoticed, your actions actually cause emotional volatility and alienation, as your intense emotions and focus on what sets you apart can make you seem overly self absorbed or hard to relate to, pushing people further away. All right, let's look at type five's paradox. So they desire to fully experience light and connect with others, but they observe people in life from a distance and disconnect from their emotions. This keeps them from being able to engage and experience life and relationships to the fullest. While you say you want to feel competent and self-sufficient, your behavior actually causes distance and loneliness, as your need for privacy and tendency to withhold can lead to emotional detachment and make others feel shut out of or unimportant. While you say you're trying to avoid being overwhelmed or invaded, your actions actually cause isolation and misunderstanding, as your withdrawal and reluctance to share can make you seem aloof or unapproachable, leading to the very lack of connection you're trying to avoid. All right, type sixes desire to trust themselves, but they constantly question themselves, leading to self doubt and anxiety. They also desire to have a connection and trust others, but their suspicion and projections can instead create distrust and disconnection. This guardedness causes others to become cautious and guarded with them. So, although you say you want to feel secure and supported, your behavior actually causes anxiety and distrust, as your constant questioning and need for reassurance can come off as doubting or suspicious, causing others to feel undermined or distrusted. While you say you're trying to avoid uncertainty and betrayal, your actions actually cause overwhelm and distance, as your tendency to overthink and seek constant validation can make you appear needy or pessimistic, leading others to pull back or avoid you. Right, my type sevens, they desire to be fully content and completely satisfied, but they avoid behaviors that would help them in feeling settled, complete, content, and whole. They feel empty and desperate to fill themselves up with more stimulation and distractions. Therefore, they never feel settled and content and continually long for more. Although you say you want to be happy and free, your behavior actually causes chaos and lack of follow through, as your constant pursuit of new experiences can lead to neglecting responsibilities or commitments, frustrating others, and creating instability. While you say you're trying to avoid pain and limitation, your actions actually cause distraction and disconnection, as your avoidance of deeper issues and constant seeking of excitement can make you seem superficial or unreliable, leading to the emptiness you're trying to avoid. All right, our type eights, they desire to be their true vulnerable self, being able to reveal their weaknesses and to be fully accepted and cared for by others and not betrayed. But since they portray a strong, independent, and intimidating presence, others often don't experience their softer, gentler side. This means others can't see their desperate need for full acceptance, care, and support. Although you say you want to be fully accepted and cared for, your behavior actually pushes others away or makes it difficult for them to see your need for support. By portraying a strong, independent, and sometimes intimidating presence, you inadvertently create distance, preventing others from feeling safe enough to approach or offer the care you truly desire. You say you want to avoid being betrayed. Your actions actually create the possibility of self isolation, as the walls you build to protect yourself can also keep genuine connections at bay. Type 9. They desire for others to see their significant value and to be taken seriously. But since they don't believe their presence matters, they keep the focus off of them by accommodating and merging with others. When they go along to get along, it causes others to discount and overlook them. Though you say you want to keep the peace and harmony, your behavior actually causes avoidance and unresolved tension, as your tendency to avoid conflict and go along with others can lead to passive aggressive behavior or unaddressed issues, creating more underlying discord. While you say you're trying to avoid conflict and disruption, your actions actually cause indecision and resentment, as your reluctance to assert yourself or address problems directly can make you seem disengaged or indifferent, leading to misunderstandings and the very disharmony you're trying to prevent. All right, so we quickly went through all of our types, and now what do you do with that information? Like I said, first of all, it's important just to be aware that our natural autopilot behaviors are actually often preventing the thing that we really want. So, something you can do to try to prevent this from happening is identify your triggers and patterns. So think about the times when you've exhibited these behaviors. What triggered these actions? What emotions led to these patterns? And next time, you can try to address the emotions before they escalate. Understand underlying motivations. Right? You need to acknowledge the core motivations driving these behaviors. For example, a type 1 might recognize that their critical nature stems from their desire for perfection. Understanding this can reduce self judgment and allow for more compassionate self awareness. Practice mindfulness and pause. When feeling triggered or noticing the onset of paradoxical behavior, pause and practice mindfulness. This pause creates space to choose a different response rather than reacting out of habit. Then those pathways, every time you do it, that pathway gets stronger and stronger. And eventually, if you keep doing it, it'll be the natural way that you think. Challenge unhelpful thoughts. Challenge the critical inner dialogue or assumptions that fuel these behaviors. All right, so I hope that that was helpful in some way, give you some awareness of some behaviors that we are doing as our type that are actually preventing us from getting what we really desire and what we really want, that core longing. So if you have any questions or any comments, please comment below or feel free to send me a message. I'd love to chat and talk some more about this. Thanks.